Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Todd coming at you with another episode of Living Your Best Life. And as always, thank you so much for giving me some of your time, whenever, wherever you are in the world or the universe right now. Of course, what we do in the show is we invite professionals on to talk about what they do and how what they do is contributing to a healthier society, a wealthier society, a better society in general. And a better and a kinder society is what we need. We live in a world that's kind of chaotic. In my opinion, it's kind of crazy out here right about now. And my guest, Kelley Raleigh, is going to show us and share with us some tips where we can just be kind to ourselves and then thus being kind to each other. But it starts with the mentality. It starts with the mind. Okay, if you're dealing with anxiety, if you're dealing with depression, if you're dealing with all of these mental issues, she is I would say, a transformation coach. Okay, if I can call it that, if I can call her that, just helping people live their best lives through kind brain. So you're going to be really wowed by her information, and I want you to check her out, and you're going to enjoy this conversation today. But before we get on to that, of course, we have the Reset Challenge, all right? The Well Beyond 50 Reset Challenge. So if you are like me and you are well beyond 50 and you want to stay well beyond 50 or just get to 50 and be well, okay, this is the program for you. All right, so but we have the webinars coming up before the challenge actually takes place in the next few weeks. So get in on the webinar, free webinar, just to get some more details about the challenge. All right, so click on the link below or on the next frame, and after the commercial, all right, we're going to be talking about the Get Well Beyond 50 Reset Challenge. Alrighty, so y'all take care, and Kelley Raleigh's coming up on the next show. Y'all be good. Peace. So welcome back, everybody, to the show, Living Your Best Life. And like I was saying, you want to get on that webinar, all right, to learn how you, especially if you want to be well beyond 50, and yes, stay well beyond 50, the next challenge we have coming up. So get on the webinar, get the information, because we're helping people do just that, live their best lives, but also get well and stay well beyond 50. So enough of that. Let's get on to the show. Why? Because I had the awesome opportunity to sit with this young lady here, and she's looking so beautiful today. And I was just amazed at her journey, her courage, her strength, her comeback story. And she has one. But also, she's taken all of this in what she has dealt with in her life, and she's serving the community and just the world. And if you get the opportunity, and you should see it in a few seconds here at her website, please do visit her website, because she has tons of testimonials of people that she's helped. Get on her newsletter, because she has just a wealth of just real information and all. And so I just want to say welcome to Kelley Raleigh to the show. So welcome. Thank you for hanging out.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you for having me. And my favorite thing that you just said is you called me a young lady.
Yes.
So I am in your demographic, but
yes, you have like this 30-ish appeal, and so it might just be in your aura. And
that's how I feel. I feel like I'm 35.
Yeah. And that was just, like I said, you just have that appeal, and it might, like I said, in your smile, in your posture, and everything, you have a very youthful appearance. And so, that I'm pretty sure that comes with some decisions. You have to decide on being this person, do you?
Yeah, I think everything is a choice. I mean, we've talked about this. I think everything is a choice. And when I see people kind of like give up, not surrender, because those are two different things. When I see people give up, there is this like heavy, older energy that comes in, right? Because you've given into the stress and the the heaviness really of life. And I'm just, look, I still have things going on in my life. My life is not exactly where I want it to be. But I mean, I live in Southern California. I have amazing friends. I have an amazing family. I have an amazing kid. I meet
Mhm.
amazing people. And so it's like, I'm just going to enjoy this. Like, why not?
Yeah, amazing. That is amazing in itself to hear those. It's refreshing. Let me say that. It's refreshing. And I'll talk about that in a second. But you mentioned something, surrender and give up, in terms of being two different things. Can you elaborate on that? Because I kind of like think I'm thinking the same thing, but you kind of say it's a different thing. So,
To me, giving up means I'm not putting energy towards the forward movement or the thing that I
okay.
want, or it's gotten too hard and I don't want to work for it anymore.
Hmm.
Surrender is the visual I have is almost like the floating in the ocean or on a body of water. Like you're just floating. Like, okay,
Okay.
now I'm going to like, I've paddled, I've done what I needed to do. Now I'm just going to like sit for a minute and I'm going to let God, the universe, the ocean, whatever it is,
Uh,
start like maneuvering me so I can cooperate with that. And
yes.
I'm not saying I'm perfect at surrendering, but I've gotten a
Yeah.
lot better at it. And if you trust yourself, your body, and God, or whatever higher power that you connect with, if you really trust those things, you know that like it's all going to work out. So there's taking the steps and the action, but there's also like just this surrender, like, okay, it's time to pivot. That didn't work. And one is a lighter energy than the other one's a heavier energy.
Gotcha, gotcha. I love it because and thanks for that breakdown because I'm thinking, even though I visualized, I was hoping that it was different like that. But like I said, I'm thinking that is there a difference? But you laid it out perfectly because I think yes, that surrendering is just letting go almost and just saying, okay, God, you take me where I need to go. You position me, my feet where they need to walk, and I'm going to walk according to those footsteps and where you guide me.
And
And
when you
so,
really, yes, when you
yeah,
really
go ahead.
trust, you can do that.
Yes, trust, and that's a huge word. So with kind brain, because when I first connected with you, that I was trying to figure out what that meant. If you could kind of like give us an understanding of what kind brain is, what you do at Kind Brain, and how you're servicing your community and abroad.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say, I'll tell you about the intention behind the name in a second, but I will say it's kind of evolved over the last 6 years. I started this
Mhm.
6 years ago, August, 6 years ago,
Mhm.
2019. Um, I was noticing at that time that just a lot of people are not being kind to themselves. Like, forget about being kind to the world. If you're not going to be kind to yourself, you're definitely not going to be kind to your kids, your
Yeah.
partner. Um, and I was just noticing that a lot. And when I wanted to get back into working with clients again, and I wanted to add another component, like a little bit of an edge, um, this neurofeedback system, which we'll talk about later, but the neurofeedback system came, like it just fell into my lap, and it's all about the brain. And it's like, oh, okay, well, most people are foggy and not clear-headed. Most people are not sleeping. Most people are not even clear on how to communicate what they want and what they need. And so what is the best word that would embody what I think would be necessary to move forward? And it's kindness, and it's being kind to ourselves, and it's being kind to our bodies and our thoughts, so that we can actually like start emitting that out in the world.
Mhm.
And you know I was not always kind when I was younger. I was definitely like a sassy, like in trouble,
Mhm.
almost a mean girl. Like I just was. And so it was really just a full circle moment. Like when I got into my 30s and 40s, it was just like, I don't want to be like that anymore.
Right.
So that was the
Right.
beginning of it. That's why I came up with it.
Why were you a mean girl?
I think I liked the power. I felt like I didn't. And look, I used a lot of it for good. I definitely would like, I stood up for what I believed in and I stood up for
Okay.
people that I cared about. Um, but I questioned a lot. And when I saw things that I didn't like, whether it was a teacher or a principal or authority figure, I would speak up. And so I became a little bit bratty with that, right?
Okay.
And so now I'm like, okay, how can I use my powers for good? So I'm not like a bratty 16-year-old that was just getting her way all the time. Like I just was like, that's just the truth of it. I just was getting my way a lot. And now I'm like, all right, we get to reap the benefits or the karma of all of that at this point.
Yeah.
Um, but, I'm
Gotcha.
not like that
Gotcha.
anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. And I really like the person that you are now. I really do. And I think that's why like I'm really wanted to introduce you to my audience because kind is it's a fleeting word these days. I mean and like you said, if we can't be kind to ourselves, then how in the world can we expect to be kind to one another? And and I think we escape we neglect that part so often. The when I say self-care, yes, I do mean self-care in terms of yes, take care of yourself. But we when we think of self-care, we tend to think of the outer parts versus going taking care of ourselves inwardly. And that's where the cleansing needs to really happen. And so it's like, how do we get to this kind space? How do we get back to being people who care for one another? Because my heart is a little bit heavy today because you get caught up into a world of you hear so many stories, and I deal with quite a few people, and you hear all of the stories and the issues that people are dealing with, and it's like, wow, how do we get back to a place of where we are kind to one another? And I'd love to hear your thoughts on things like that.
I think it starts with connection. I
Hmm.
think it starts with connecting with ourselves and not like you were saying, the baths and the spas and all that. That's lovely and that's great, but those are band-aids. They're
Yeah.
better than a pill. They're better than drinking and microdosing, but they're still band-aids because you could be at a spa all day and relax, but if you're going to come home and project all of your bullshit onto your husband and your kids,
Hmm.
I mean, you're not really like, you haven't really
Yeah.
done anything, you know? You've just taken 4 hours to be quiet, really. And that's great. There's so much value in that. But if you're not really reflecting on why I'm going to spin out, why I'm going to be upset, why I'm going to be angry, and stop projecting all of those things onto all of the people in your world and then blaming them, then you're going to be in that spiral. So it's about connecting and it's about first connecting with yourself. It's put your mask on first on the airplane, right? And if you're
Hmm.
not able to really have that self-reflection, and it's not even venting to your friends. It's sometimes not even going to a therapist. It's really it's choosing to get really honest with what it is that you are expecting from other people and how you react when you don't get that. And so when I go
Gotcha.
back to me being a teenager, I wanted what I wanted. And when I didn't get it, I got, it's like I didn't like it. Now it's like, oh, okay, I see things are not going my way right now. I
Yeah.
understand that maybe that's not for me. And how can I navigate this gracefully so that I can connect back into what it is that I want, see what it is, how it is that I can truly go about getting that and navigate from there. But
Yeah.
most people are so disconnected. So when I get back to most people are not sleeping, most people are like have a cloudy brain and do not know how to communicate. Well, if you can't do those three things, then you're going to be projecting. Everyone's going to be a narcissist. Everyone's going to be gaslighting you. You know what I mean? It's like it becomes all of that. So until you really know yourself and connect in and connect to the ground and the sun and your body and your
Yeah.
food that you're eating and the people in your life, you're just going to keep spinning.
And that's important. What you just said with regards to people in your life and the connection and the communication, because I think it does take all of us to reach some level of either um, holistically becoming who we really are, uh, becoming whole. I think that's what I really wanted to say. It will take all of us to kind of like, it takes a tribe or a people or a group to help us realize, man, this is who I am. Um, because I think, and you mentioned this in your newsletter, technology and, you know, it's not really serving us in a way that's bringing us more connection. It's not really serving us in a way that's bringing us more peace, and it's doing more to be a disservice in all those things. So do you see that's where it's all headed right now?
I see that it can be, and I see that some people are going to go down that route, but the people in my world, we're not doing that. And it's not, I mean, I have an iPhone. I'm clearly on a computer. I'm not against technology, but I am against using it for like all of my life. I will never have an Alexa in my house. I will never have an electric car. I want to keep the basics of our humanity,
Hmm.
the ground, the sun, air, human connection and touch. I even mentioned sex in that newsletter. You know, it's like
Yeah.
all of these things are biologically like the reason why we are thriving, right? And so when
Yeah.
we take all of those components away, what's the connection?
Yeah.
You're now you're now asking AI how to get out of a relationship. You're now asking AI how to write your copy for you. You're now asking AI to make all these things for you. And it's like, well, what, like, what about the human reflection and what about the human touch and someone saying, girl, I really understand what you're going through. AI is not going to do that for you. They're not holding your
Yeah.
hand. Your
Yeah.
breakup. They're just not. They're going to break it down and explain to you why, they'll be your cheerleader and be why you should have done that. But
Yeah.
maybe that's not even true because maybe you were the pain in the ass in the relationship. You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
it just
Exactly.
it's self-serving still.
Yeah. How do you maintain or manage a 9-year-old and help a 9-year-old navigate through all of this stuff? Because I mean, they grew up in it. They've grown up and growing up in a technological world. How do you helping him navigate through all of this?
Um, Most important thing is I love him so much that I'm allowing him to be a human and I'm allowing him to be himself. So I'm not
Mhm.
controlling. I'm not, yes, I like make sure he has healthy food, all of these things, but I allow him to like have this freedom to be in his body and figure things
Mhm.
out. And I don't do things for him. So that's number one.
Mhm.
Number two, I don't have an iPad. Um, you see a TV in my living room.
Yeah.
He can watch TV. That's fine. Um, he does Duolingo for a few minutes on a phone, or he may look at some old pictures on a phone, but like that's it. Like
Mhm.
I don't have video games. We're not doing that.
Gotcha.
Um, and I'm very intentional since we do an unschooling, non-traditional schooling format. I'm very intentional with the classes that I put him in. So he is excelling in reading and math, but he also knows how to plant seeds in a garden. He knows how to work in a
Mhm.
farm. He knows how he's actually planted trees and like drove a tractor. He knows how to help people, that need help down off the side of a mountain. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like his
Mhm.
basic skills. And so I surround myself and him with really, really good people, and especially men, since he doesn't have a father right now. He's all my male friends and the men that I've dated are amazing and he's around them. So again, that's connection, right? He's just
Yeah.
around a bunch of really good humans and
Right.
we all share very similar values. So
Yeah.
that's just my number one priority.
Awesome. Thanks for that. Because as we speak, I mean, I watch the younger generation and the population. Um, they're tied into the technology, and the next 5 to 10 years, 20 years, I don't know where it's going to go. But I do get a little concerned about them because of that very thing of losing connection with each other, losing connection with themselves, losing connection with each other. We don't know how to, like you said, communicate anymore because everything is either through text. Yeah, when we came up, um, we someone had called me this morning. It was interesting, and she's a much older lady, and the and I didn't know that she called, but I was wondering if she was going to text me because in her generation it was all about the call. It was the I didn't text people.
Oh,
Yeah,
pick up the phone and you called,
you
and they
picked
either
up the
answered or they didn't.
exactly. And so when she didn't text me, I was saying to myself, she's probably not going to text me, and I understand. This is just not what she normally does. It's not her routine. It's not her program. And that's totally fine. Where now we are in a society that if you call, that's almost you hit the third rail to some degree. You don't call people anymore. That's kind of like a no, you don't do that.
I
Uh,
love phone calls. I love it.
I
And
do
there's
too,
definitely
honestly.
yeah, there's a handful of friends that we still talk on the phone, at least as much as we can.
Yeah.
And like when I'm dating, it's like I want to talk on the phone. Like I want to hear your voice. I want it like it's important to me. Not all the time, but you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I am 50. I'm not 30 and want to do everything on Snapchat. Like it's just not gonna happen.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, so like I appreciate your being honest about, and just being open about, how you're helping your son navigate through this world. And like you say, you're surrounding him with people so he will understand humanity and get a connection with humanity and build from those relationships because I think relationships are so important. And I didn't learn that until I was older, and much older, because I thought I could do it by myself. And I came to find out that no, I need to build relationships because I am by myself and I don't like this feeling.
Yeah.
This is before the, kind of like the internet stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. And like our hearts have what, 4 to 6 feet. I've heard different things, 4 to 6 feet of like,
Mhm.
that connection and that resonance
Yeah,
space. And
yeah,
it's like, yeah, we need it. We need to be around humans. Like it's it's imperative. It is literally like just like the sun, it is our lifeblood. It is a battery.
right.
And you're not, building your business on an island. You're not even doing your job on an island. You literally
Mhm.
have to do these things with other people. And when you realize, at least when I realize, like I have great strengths. There's things that I'm really, really good at. And then there's things
Mhm.
that I'm not so good at. And or I
Mhm.
would prefer not to do. I want someone who really loves doing those things to do that so that
Yeah,
I can be really good at what I do. And in a marriage, in a business partnership, in an, employee, boss situation, I think that's important to have. And I mean, it's interesting. I think there's one reason that I'm not having Zane in traditional schooling at this point is because I do think that I think some of the focus is just not going to be helpful. And I think that it does point to more individual like success, which is great. I want all my
yeah,
people around me to succeed,
yeah,
but it doesn't lend itself to the fact that we all need like some team to help us, even if it's just accountability and
yeah,
cheerleading, you know?
yeah. And community is important. And I think that's where you're probably even thinking about where you were going with that. But I feel as though we've lost some of that because in Western, society and culture, it is a very me, my, I kind of individualistic strive. And not to say that's a wrong or right thing or anything like that, but it becomes very prideful and egotistical And that can lead to other issues and problems in society because you will step over the next person so that you can. So it's never about pulling the next person up. It's all about me getting to the top. And if I'm at the top, then my next thing is how do I stay at the top? And so that can become a problem and I think it shows up in society in a quite a different few ways or what have you. Um, People come to you because they're searching for what?
They're stuck. They're stuck.
Mm,
And they are probably going through some version of a traumatic experience
mhm,
and they just don't know how to get out of it and they're spinning.
mm, mm,
And every once in a while I have just the average person who's like, I just kind of want to like be a little bit more clear. I want to kind of up my creative game, that kind of thing. Which that's all fine because I can definitely help someone. But the juiciest clients are the ones that are literally like either at the end of a really crazy experience or in the middle of it. And it's like, great, let's dig in because you created, promoted, or allowed a version of this. So let's see how we can, dig ourselves out of it. And once people make that choice, everything changes.
yeah,
Literally everything is a choice. And
yeah,
so once they choose to commit and pay and book the session and do all of that, it's like, great, your life is now going to change.
right.
It can't not change because you've chosen it
Gotcha.
and it's not going to be overnight, but you want it sustainable. You want it to be a foundation. You want it to be something that you can now like make as a lifestyle.
Hmm.
So that's what I do.
Gotcha. And so they're stuck. They've had some kind of a traumatic situation. And so you will, looking at like a session or a few sessions, you're helping them get unstuck by looking at, I guess, their lifestyle patterns and things of that nature, I'm assuming, right?
Ultimately, it's about connecting back to themselves. So it's all about connection, right? But we
Okay.
start by there's a verbal conscious piece, and then there's like the biological subconscious piece with the neurooptimal system. So the conscious piece that I work on with people, we start identifying limiting beliefs.
Hmm.
And everyone knows what they are, everyone
Hmm.
knows why they're stuck. Some people just won't admit it until they really I actually had a guy that I met, in the same way that I met you and on the networking, app. And we were talking and he wanted to go through like my quick little, like just my introductory process. And he was like, oh, I haven't thought about these things for a while. And he did it. He committed to the process. And he's like, I already feel lighter. Like, this is amazing. And it's like,
Hmm.
right, because we know what it is. We just haven't put words on it or we have felt ashamed about it. And it sticks in our body. It sticks in our fascia. And
Yeah.
so when all of these involuntarily reactive pieces are in our fascia and we're not conscious of it, we're going to be vomiting all over people, we're going to be projecting all over people, we're going to blame other people for our issues.
Hmm.
And so when we start identifying the limiting beliefs and then forgiving the judgment about them, then it all starts to move out. And now we've begun that process of like untangling and being a little bit more unstuck. um, and that's just where we begin. And then from there, we're like, because it's a 3-month program.
Yeah.
From there, we're like building out, like, what is it that you want? Are you needing to get out of a marriage? Are you building a business? Are you identifying a brand new career path? Like, or just want inner peace. And what does that look
Yeah.
like?
Yeah. Have you ever done like been in a business or a work environment where you the cubicle kind of, you ever done that kind of a job before?
I did it like a couple of times.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not really good in those scenarios, as you can
You know,
imagine.
I had to ask you about that because I can't see you in that, and because because some people have like they can. I worked at a firm in New York City uh for years, and I realized how much of my, and I'm not knocking the experience at all. I love the people. They're a great group of people. It's a great environment to work, but it was a trap. And in the sense where it's the place where you went to let your dreams just kind of like, if you had any
Oh,
aspirations.
guy.
Yeah. and so you can get caught up in it. And so again, I was sitting here, I was thinking, I wonder if she has ever worked in a cubicle setting. I just couldn't see it.
Um, so it's funny, when I was married to my late
Yeah,
husband, I always had my own freedom and schedule, whether it was my own business or running a division for somebody else. And I remember when we were going to get pregnant, I was like, okay, I don't want to be in charge right now. I don't want to raise money.
right,
I don't want
right.
to make a plan. I don't want to be any director, CEO, anything. And so I'm going to go get a job. And it literally fell into my lap. And I
Hmm.
worked for Sony Pictures Television for about a year and a half. And
Wow.
it was an amazing experience. And I still am friends with like a couple of people. Actually, the president of Sony Pictures Television at the time is a friend of mine now. And I ran into him a little bit later. And he like was really good people. It was an amazing experience. It was hard in some ways, but I got pregnant and I ended up moving on. But it was like it served its purpose. But
Yeah.
I definitely was like, what do you mean I can't leave this area? What do you mean I can't? I have to stay until 6. What is it? What? But there was stability, and that's what I wanted. I had a paycheck, I
Yeah.
had a 401k, I had life insurance, like, like there was stability in it. So I understand why people do it for sure.
Yeah.
I don't put
Yeah.
it down. But for me, I definitely felt very contained, and I don't like that. Yeah.
Fall into that. And yeah, that was something that you might call it the free-spirited individuals or the carefree individuals. But as long as it was um, where I worked at the time, I can kind of like fit it around my schedule in a way. And I'm not, it's been years and years since I've worked there, so I can say these things now, right? To who's ever listening that I used to, that used to work with me there. I mean, I was doing music at the time, and my shift was from really 12 o'clock midnight until 8 o'clock. And it was very, very lax environment. But I would come in at 4 o'clock in the morning to this job because I'm at the studio, and I'm in there at 4 o'clock in the morning doing what I need to do. And by 8 o'clock, it's my time to go home. But I would stay and have breakfast with my one of my best friends. And I'd stay in for like a couple hours to sometimes 12 o'clock and charge them overtime.
I'm like taking advantage of the system.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And so, but during the 90s in Lower Manhattan, Wall Street area, everyone, not to say it was an excuse to do it, but money was just flowing and people were
Totally.
just, it was just like, whatever.
Everyone was doing it.
Yeah, but it was so I could make it fit my lifestyle instead of actually, I had me having to conform to, like I said, if I had to do it during the day, luckily it was at night, but if I had to do it during the day where managers were, there and things like that, it probably would have been a little bit more challenging. But like I said, something was thought, I was like, I have to ask her if she's ever been in a 9 to 5 setting, in a cubicle style, setting. And for some reason, I just couldn't see it.
I'm not the ideal employee in a lot of ways.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, moving on, like on your website, I'm looking at like I said, you're looking at the benefits of kind brain sessions, anxiety, and things like that. Because I think when we talk about the world today, and honestly, I don't know if I don't know after COVID, when I say after COVID, but after my event with COVID, something happened to my nervous system where I have anxiety triggers now all of a sudden out of nowhere. I don't know why, but anxiety is something that I'm hearing in a lot of people that I work with in my business. They're dealing with some form of anxiety. And um, and I might be asking for myself. I don't know here. So, are you able to, and how are you working if you do work with individuals that are dealing and coping with some level of anxiety?
So I look at things very differently than most people.
Hmm.
And I think that healing can be easy and it can be lighthearted. And I also think everything is a choice. And so
Hmm.
when we talk about the fascia and we talk about all of those things being stuck in our fascia, and we
Yeah.
have sometimes the involuntary reaction to that, that can be anxiety producing. And anxiety is about a future projection. None of it's real.
Hmm.
You're literally
Yeah.
making up in your head that you can't go there because you're going to feel this. You can't talk to this person because this is going to happen. So it's literally like a story that you've made up. And it's not that I don't have those moments of like, but then I remember, okay, I am in this moment right now. I'm breathing. I
Yeah.
have food in my house. I am healthy. I am alive. And I start there. And then if there is part of the exercise that I do with people, the initial exercise that I do with people, there's a forgiveness of judgment. And so the statement is, I forgive myself for judging myself. The judgment is the
Hmm.
key. And then I just start working that. I forgive myself for judging myself for forgetting that I am divine. I forgive myself for judging myself for, projecting my anxiety, etc. A lot of people have it, and that's kind of become the norm now, right? And
Okay.
so I'm actually going to backtrack out of that. It's also, I'm not saying you're saying this. We can get
Yeah.
into it
Right.
in a second.
Yeah.
But a lot of people also use it as a connection point. So it comes
Meaning.
back to connection. We want the connection, right?
Hmm.
And so sometimes it's like the only thing you kind of know how to do is kind of complain or get into this spiral in the story with other people because you think that's how you're connecting, but it's really not a connection. You're
Right.
literally making things up. And so it becomes this false connection or a trauma bond, and it's not really doing what you want it to
Yeah.
do. And
Yeah.
so when people get wrapped up in that, it's like, okay, let's get back to basics. Put your hand on your stomach or your heart. Like, okay, I'm breathing. Everything is
Hmm.
fine. I've
Hmm.
eaten. I have a car. I have friends. Whatever the things are, right? I know how to talk to people. But once we start diving into like the limiting beliefs, things start moving out. And then when they do a neurooptimal session, biologically, their nervous system is going to start softening and it's going to start relaxing. And so then it becomes just this biological response that now you're not in that fight or flight or freeze. So your body's just not reacting the same. And since now you're consciously also moving the stories out, it's just opening up the space,
Yeah.
which some
Yeah.
people can be uncomfortable with. But
Yeah.
I'm like, great. What's like this is space now. You have space in your life. This is good.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the fact that you use the word choice because that's something that I think I've used with my clients, but also I've used that in conversations where people are challenging me on certain thoughts and certain philosophies or what have you, that life is choice. I mean, in every given moment, we have the choice, we have the option. And so I always tell my wife, one of my taglines is I just want my purpose or one of the things that gives me passion and or drive is just to helping people understand that they have options in life because sometimes I feel that we don't feel as though we have options in life, and therefore we feel as though we are stuck on a treadmill. And again, my thing is, how do we get back? How do we get those individuals? And this might be, my own. I may need to take that class also, um, because are you an introvert or an extrovert?
I'm an extrovert.
You're an extrovert. Oh yeah. How do you know?
I love being social.
Hmm.
And so maybe 10% of my life I want to like recharge by myself, but I
Yeah.
really recharge when I'm around friends, in nature,
Yeah.
out in community.
Yeah.
Um, and I only need a little bit of like quiet
Yeah.
time.
Some the opposite. So and I think because I was, I lived, or not say lived, but I music wise, just playing instruments. I spent a lot of more time when I was younger playing instruments than I did with people. And so I don't know if that handicapped me in a way with uh dealing with people in general, but I had to learn and actually make myself actually, like I said earlier, build, understand the power of relationships because that just wasn't a strong point of mine. And so the fact that I understand the power and the need for relationships now is I enjoy people. I enjoy meeting people. I enjoy meeting people like yourself, and just getting to know you and your story. And I think that's just,
Do you feel good about sharing yourself? Like, is it
yeah,
always
yeah,
about other people? Do you feel comfortable sharing?
yeah. I don't mind sharing now because I don't know if it's because you get a certain age, you just stop caring what people think anymore.
Right.
And that's what I got from you the first time I met you. I just like, and that's why I was like, I just fell in love with you because you just don't care. I don't care what people think anymore.
I kind of don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I lived such a different life. And I mean, looking back, I have from like such an early age, I was always pushing back. I was always saying why. I was always saying this is arbitrary. It's not necessary. So, like, why stop now? Like, I'm just going to commit to it a little bit more, you know?
Are you still curious about life in general?
I'm always curious about life. I'm always curious about people. I feel like even the last couple of weeks, like going back to the Midwest,
Yeah.
like I wrote, like things kind of have shifted for me a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, I'm always going to be learning. I always want to learn, and I find I find when I'm meeting people, I want to actually know more about them than I used to,
Hmm.
because I just either assumed that we were already on the same page with everything and we didn't really need to know anything. But now I'm like, oh, there's so much gray out there. There's so much gray. And so we could overlap on these things, but I'm going to learn something new over here because it's a very different perspective than what I have. And I'm going to want to understand it, even if I don't agree with it, you know? So yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I'm still curious about life. I'm still amazed at life. Uh, I find us to be fascinating. We've lived long enough to kind of like see, different phases of society, the changes and things like that. And my parents, they're in their 80s now. Dad being 85, and I think mom is like 82, 83 or something like that. And just see what just speaking with them, you see what they have seen in their lives. My dad being, born in the late 30s. And it's amazing to hear and watch those and listen to those stories of what they were dealing with when they were younger, and to how they see the world now.
How do
And
you
so,
see the world now?
huh?
Are they optimistic?
No, no. So, hardly. They're a bit frustrated with it all now. From so many. I mean, we can not to you know cover it up, but they don't like the politics of the world today, of this country now. But even beyond that, they don't like what they're seeing, in people in general, in terms of how we treat each other. We're not kind to one another. And so they come from a generation, that was more communal.
Yeah. And
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 yeah,
simpler. And I agree. And I mean, the politics thing for me, it's like it's all a game and that's all been going on for eons.
yeah,
And like
yeah,
that game is gonna get played whether we participate in it or not.
yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes you're gonna like it, sometimes you're not. And I'm just like, great. But to me, when I am optimistic. Again, maybe it's because I have an amazing community around me and
Hmm.
because I only choose to be around people that I think are just good people, even if we disagree on some things. Like
Hmm.
I see the goodness in you, and
Hmm. Hmm.
that's what I'm going to connect with.
Hmm.
But it does concern me, like all of the tech that a 2-year-old has access to right now. Zane is smart. Like he can do the things and he will learn and be a part of that. But I want him to understand the basics and have almost like a Gen X kind of upbringing where it's like how to get your hands dirty and figure things out and build and communicate, and that is your foundation. And then you can add in a video game or building code or, whatever. But I think I have seen so many kids just lose that connection. And
Yeah.
that is my concern, because I'm going to tell you, when I work with millennials, it's a whole other ballgame. Like,
Oh
it's
yeah.
just like, oh, okay, we're starting from a whole new place here. Like,
Yeah.
they were raised differently. They were raised by helicopter parents. They were raised with all this anxiety and everyone doing everything for them. And so they didn't get the basics. And so I don't want to say I have a concern, but I'm definitely aware of those differences. And I try, like, my platform, it's like basics, guys. How are we communicating? Are you getting in the sun? Are you sleeping? Are you connecting with people? And if you're not, I can help you get there. Like, it's
Yeah.
just that simple. It's literally just that simple.
So and that opens up kind of a different perspective when it comes to your business with regards to, my thought about it. So you are and have worked with people that are in the younger population and generation.
With Neurooptimal, I've worked on babies and I've worked on
Mm.
elderly people with Alzheimer's.
Wow.
So the machine itself, the neurofeedback system itself, can stop a concussion in its tracks, can help reverse, and I'm going to say reverse, Alzheimer's.
Mm.
It's going to mitigate seizures. It's going to get rid of OCD, all of those things. So most of my clients I'm coaching, and most of my clients I'm building a program for them, and we're doing a thing. But there are
Mhm.
definitely pockets of people that or babies that need just the biological support. And
Right.
so, and again, I'm still happy to even provide that, because if it's going to get you sleeping, your memory back, mitigating seizures, coming out of a coma, great, fantastic. We're going to do that too.
Yeah.
Um, but the millennials that come in, they're very avoidant to do the work. I'm gonna say that as a general statement, just
Yeah.
because that's been my experience with, like, that younger generation. They're very avoidant to do the work, to dig in and look at the things. They've done all the things of the breath work and the microdosing. I'm like, okay, well, clearly you're still here doing, like, you're still spinning. So
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess that didn't work. Um, but once they start doing their optimal sessions, like, if somebody's so resistant, I will just start there. Great, we don't have to do the processing yet. Let's just get you on in our optimal system so you can start taking the edge off your anxiety, your day, the daily stress, clear up your brain a little bit, get you sleeping. So now we can start getting into the coaching piece and the transformation piece.
Gotcha. That is so interesting because I deal with quite a few millennials in my life also, and I see some of those characteristics where, yeah, it's the resistance, and so like I said, I didn't know that, but thanks for that. Um, Thanks for hanging out. I truly, truly, truly enjoyed just getting to know a little bit more about your practice and your business, and just getting to know a little bit more about you, Kelley. Like you were just impressive to me the first time that I met you, and I hope that everyone listening just got just a wealth of information, but just a little bit of refreshing ideas, ideas that are refreshing when it comes to just some strategies that you can think about and get in contact with her. Please do. Question I do have for you: if you could if there was something that you could do today to make this world a better place tomorrow, what would that be?
Something I could do.
Yeah, something you could do. I don't care if it's a magic wand and you sprinkle whatever on the world. Uh,
I
what?
mean, my prayer is that people really start connecting to themselves. I didn't even
Mhm.
mention I facilitate a retreat in Topanga, California, and it's called Back to You. And it's
Okay.
literally 3 days of, like, taking that time to do it. It's a more immersive experience. But my prayer for everybody is that they begin connecting and just stopping and taking a breath and connecting into themselves. And by that I mean truly connecting. Not, I need a break from everyone around me. No, this is not about everyone else. This is about you.
Hmm.
Um, one of the things I like to say to people when I'm having a hard time with somebody and I know I'm going to have like a conversation with them, or I know that they're upset with me about something, I like to say a little blessing called, not called anything, I don't know why I said that, but it's a little blessing that I learned from my spiritual teacher. It's, I love you, God bless you, peace be still. And when we really like can tap into our inner love, our inner peace, our inner knowing, our inner God, what, you know, our inner universe, like it can change, you know, our lives can change. And so that's
Yeah.
just what I would love for everyone.
We need more people like you, and they're out there.
There are. You are a person like me.
Well, we need more people like us,
Yeah.
and they're out there. I was watching a movie the other night, and I saw this movie years ago when I was on my way back up to New York on Amtrak from Greensboro here, and the name of the movie is called Simon Birch. And if you ever get a chance, it's this little dwarfism of a kid who has this rebellious idea of who God is and how he sees the world. And he is so faithful that he feels as though he can change the world. And it was it's a totally inspiring story and movie. But it has so many of the things I think we can resonate and relate to, Kelley, because he offers hope in this movie and throughout the movie that each one of us has that light within us, that if we find it and if we're courageous enough to let it shine, then yeah, we're powerful.
Yeah. And all we have to do is like, just move the static out because it's there. It's
Yeah.
there. That's what I'm going to bring out in you. All of my clients, I am bringing that out in you. That's literally my job. That's all that it is. It's there. And you can resist it all you want, but I'm going to find it. You just have to own it. You just have to own it. It's up to you, you know? And I think when I was younger, I did want to like save the world, and I, you know, did certain things. I took teenagers around the world to like volunteer, and I loved it. But what is having a kid completely changed me. It completely changed who I am as a person in so many ways. And it really comes back to like, how am I being? Look, I'm not perfect. I yell at him sometimes. I get angry. Like, it's not about being perfect. It's about coming back to our center and our balance. And when I focus on me and then raising him, that's my most important thing, because then that spark, that light is going to go out into the world. So it's more important for me to focus on my inner work and my child than it is to now, you know, go back to Africa and save kids. It's like, I can do things, sure, but that's not my goal anymore, because if I'm not aligned and my kid's out of control, then how am I benefiting anybody?
Yeah, how are you showing up in the world?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, I if you get an opportunity to check that movie out, please do. It's a beautiful movie.
That sounds sweet.
But like I said, Kelley, thank you so much for hanging out. And so let us know where we can find you right quick. I know it's on the bottom here, but tell us.
Yeah, so thekindbrain.com. That has all of my email, phone, Instagram, everything. Instagram, I am kind.brain. I'm pretty active on there. You can reach me any of those portals. I don't do Facebook. I'm not on anything else. I'm on Instagram and emails and texts, and that's where you can reach me. And I even have a new, I don't like the name of it so far. I'm going to change it, but this is what it is for right now. But I have a new daily centering club where I call in the light. I do like a little prayer centering. And if you have subscribed to it, you're going to get that every Monday through Friday, every morning from me. And it's just, again, it's a connection. It's just a centering and catching in moment. So yeah.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Thank you, Todd. I had so much fun talking.
Yeah, and I don't want this to be the last time. Okay. No. And I hope that we can possibly do some work together in some areas, because once again, I know that the world is looking for us and they're waiting for us to show up, and we're showing up, and now we just have to stand on the stage and say, hey, let's rock and roll this together.
Exactly. Let's rock and roll. Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. All right, my young lady, 30 years,
I'll take it.
35. Thank you so much once again for hanging out. I truly, truly enjoy your energy and just your outlook on the world. And like I said, we need that. And so once again, thank you for hanging out with me. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So everybody, listen, check out Kelley. All right. I can sit and talk with her all day and just listen and learn from her and just have those deep conversations, because that's just simply who we are, right? And but like I said, check her out, at her website, and give her a ring if you're stuck. All right. And if you have some other things that you want to accomplish in life, this is the person I feel as though I know I can trust. And I hope that this conversation has led you to being able to trust her a little bit more, but get in contact with her. All righty. So everybody, thank you for hanging out with me on Living Your Best Life for another episode. I'll catch you on the next go around. Y'all be good. Take care now. Bye-bye.